Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.
Hello and welcome to Notice Tonight, the show that decodes the region. Yes, viewers, year 2020 has already dawned upon us. The question now is, what are the key challenges that the Northeast is likely to face this year? Well, one challenge, of course, is to push ahead with a solution to the Naga issue. Another Christmas has passed by and the elusive Naga peace deal did not happen. After some hectic meetings and an announcement of a breakthrough a couple of months ago, the government as well as the Naga rebel groups has been silent on the subject. Will the Nagas be happy in the end? How will the Meiteis in adjoining Manipur react, or for that matter, people in the adjoining states of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh? There are questions galore. Of course, is the continuing hesitation over the Citizenship Amendment Act. Another big challenge for the government will be in Assam. Soon the High Power Committee on Clause 6 of the Assam Accord will submit its recommendations to the centre. Will or can New Delhi implement those suggestions? If so, how soon? If not, what will be the road ahead in providing a foolproof constitutional and legislative safeguards to the Assamese people? All governments tend to believe that development is the panacea for trouble. If that is so, will the Northeast get a congenial atmosphere in 2020 for ushering in development? Already the tourism industry has taken a severe hit following the mass agitation against the Citizenship Amendment Act. Several countries have issued advisories cautioning people not to travel to the Northeast in view of the mass uprising. There are many other challenges as well. To discuss the subject, I am joined from Imphal by BJP leader and commentator Nisikant Sapam. In Shillong, I have Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, professor at the Northeastern Hill University. I am also joined by Naga Hoho General Secretary Ilu Endang from Kohima. And at our studios in Guwahati, I have former MP Kirip Chaliha, political analyst Swapnanil Barua, Guwahati University Professor Akhil Ranjan Datta is joining me from Guwahati, and political commentator Shyam Kanu Mohanta is also with me at the studio. Gentlemen, welcome to Northeast Tonight. First, I will go straight to Kohima, where I am joined by Naga Hoho General Secretary, Mr. Elu Endang. Mr. Elu Endang, year 2020 has already dawned upon us, as I have said. What is your view? What, in your view, is the biggest challenge for the Nagas, or for that matter, in Nagaland? Mr. Elu Endang.
Wasbir, thank you for giving me the privilege.
Welcome.
And first of all, I would like to wish a very happy New Year 2020 to all the viewers and Notice Life. Yeah. Well, the biggest challenge for the people is on the pending solution. All these years we have talked about the Naga political issue. Everyone anticipates, and with high spirit, that 2019 will bring a final conclusion to the political issue. However, due to certain hiccups in the process, it has been delayed. We are faced with lots of challenges from across the sections of people, from within and from outside. But we are hopeful that this 2020 year will bring a new dawn to the Naga people.
All right, Mr. Elu Endang, the General Secretary of the Naga Hoho, saying that Naga political issue is, of course, going to top the agenda as far as Nagaland is concerned. Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, I'm coming to you, Nisikant Sapam, right after this. Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, if I ask you, what are the major challenges for the Northeast in 2020? Yes, apart from the Citizenship Amendment Act, we have a lot of other issues, but yes, now the entire ecosystem is over the Citizenship Amendment Act amendment and over the influx of Bangladeshi nationals, continuing influx and so on and so forth. How would you like to put it?
For me, there are two important challenges. One is, building trust, building consensus, and building trust and consensus, and eradicating the kind of gaps which are increasing both between the government and that of the people of the Northeast India, and also among various stakeholders of Northeast India.
Right,
I think
right.
these are two important challenges, and if these two important challenges are being addressed by the government, many of the challenges that problems that we have been facing, we will be in a position to overcome.
All right, very, very crisp opening remarks there by Professor Akhil Ranjan Datta. Building trust and building consensus is the key before we can move ahead and take the region to on the path of development, peace and progress. Nisikant Sapam, Mr. Nisikant Sapam is a BJP leader from Manipur, but also a well-known commentator. Nisikant, do you think that, the BJP government was sailing smoothly? The BJP was sailing smoothly in the northeastern region. You are in an unenviable position. All the regional parties are your allies. All the major regional parties are your allies in the northeastern region. You have full-fledged states under your command. Tripura is one. Arunachal Pradesh is another. Assam is, BJP is the leading political party. Manipur, you have your government and whatnot. Suddenly, the Citizenship Amendment Act, it appears as if, you have created a situation where the people have become extremely combative. And do you think that is going to be the biggest challenge as far as the BJP is concerned in the Northeast during this year?
Yeah, Northeast is complicated for sure. And as far as Manipur was concerned, we were granted the ILP status. That solved the problem of the CAA. Yes, in Assam, the problem stays. But if you look at Assam, look at Guwahati. Guwahati today is a metropolitan city, a cosmopolitan city. Putting ILP is good. It would make many ethnic groups and the Assamese very happy, but I think it would harm the development of Guwahati. I don't know, my personal reading. But yes, it is a big challenge for the BJP. Because the CAA is going to be applicable in some areas of Assam and some areas of the Northeast. Whereas Manipur and many other states where the ILP is there, it is completely non-applicable. So we'll see, because this has to be done looking at the interest of the entire country. And this is a difficult thing, but I'm sure that the leadership has a way out for it. And Assam also will be taken care, because we have to look at the development of Assam also.
All right.
Guwahati.
All right, Nisikant, hold your thoughts. I'm coming back to you in a minute. Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, before I come to my panelist in the studio, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, you have heard BJP leader from Manipur, Nisikant Sapam, saying that yes, the CAA has posed the challenge for the BJP. It is very rare to find political leaders admitting that they are faced with a challenge, but Nisikant has been absolutely pragmatic perhaps today, considering that it's the beginning of the new year. How would you put, what are the challenges according to you in the Northeast during this year?
The challenge from the side of the people is something like getting their burning demands fulfilled. And demands like demands for development, demands of equal representation, demands of preservation and protection of their culture and language, and also reservation of seats in assembly and the parliament. All these are very important demands.
Right.
There is also a demand which says that large dams are not going to be useful for the purpose of development and for maintaining ecological balance. So therefore, one has to take a comprehensive, holistic view. The idea that Brahmaputra and Barak River will become part of an international waterway, whether that is going to help the river ecosystem or not is an important question. As upstream will have many dams, whether in the downstream all these ways of making it into an international waterway would disturb the life of the river or not is a major issue, along with all the political issues.
All right. Since Prasenjit Biswas has talked about river connectivity, whether there will be dams on the upper reaches, whether in the lower riparians, whether we are going to be able to tap the rivers, Brahmaputra and Barak. Before I come to my political panelists, let me ask, Shyamkanta Mohanto, what do you think about what Prasenjit Biswas has said? Do you think connectivity, development, progress are going to be the biggest challenges? Because on one hand, we are talking about giving a massive fillip to or boost to the Act East policy. On the other hand, we are coming up with inner line permit system, as Nisikant Sapam has very rightly said. Perhaps in a metropolitan city, fast emerging metropolitan city like Guwahati, an ILP can create disaster from the economic point of view, of course.
Development will be the biggest challenge in 2021. Because Northeast has taken off for last 5-6 years, and after many years, Northeast was peaceful. A lot of tourist movement. Some investment has started in Manipur also. The investment has started in different parts of Northeast. And after this year, after this CAA and the pending Naga solution, together is going to create a lot of discontentment. Already it has created a lot of discontentment in Assam, and is a lot of brewing discontentment in rest.
You have recently met, only last week perhaps, you have gone and met the Manipur Chief Minister. So have you discussed some of these issues? Because development, you say, is the biggest challenge.
So Manipur Chief Minister, actually we discussed about Manipur has a lot of potential, specifically linking to Myanmar. There is a lot of demand in Myanmar, which Manipur can fulfill. So I feel that if the infrastructure is in place, if the situation in place, that there is a lot of trade potential happening in Southeast Asia and Manipur.
You still maintain that development is going to be the biggest challenge.
But the biggest challenge, let me tell you, with ILP coming in, there is two situations. Without ILP, how Manipur comes out, Manipur was opening up. With ILP, it will be challenge. Challenge in terms of investors, and biggest challenge will be tourists. Tourists will find it difficult, both Meghalaya and Manipur.
I'm soon coming to Nisikant for a response to that, but Mr. Kirip Chalia, you have been a veteran political leader, you have been a member of parliament twice. My question is, what, according to you, are the primary difficulties or challenges that Northeast is going to face? Because these are opening remarks I want to have from my panelists before opening up the discussions very quickly.
See, don't forget that Northeast has two kinds of problem. One of isolation, second of inclusion, and assertion in mainstream politics.
Right.
Now, the problems that we are talking about are not about a particular river connectivity. It is an ocean of acute problems of centuries old isolation.
Dr. Laktera.
Right.
Then internal assimilation, internal conflicts, internal competitions. These are very complex issues. And I'll not say that political parties have not, or political parties or those in governance did not attempt to go into it. But I still feel that the way things have been happening, the general impression is still that the Northeast has been taken as the dustbin of Indian civilization, in spite of all those materialistic progress that are taking place even after liberalization.
Okay.
I'll just sum up with one rider. See, in Northeast also you'll find three different trends in the different states.
Okay.
Now, in spite of all the problems, Arunachal, I would say Nagaland, and I would say most importantly Mizoram, making a lot of progress in various fields and making their presence felt. Even a small state like Mizoram.
All right.
Assam and Sikkim, they have their own peculiar problems. But Manipur, Tripura and Nagaland.
Okay.
I think these are wounded states.
All right.
And
all right. We'll expand on that. Mr. Swapnil Barua, what is your take 2020 for the Northeast?
2020, I presume, is going to be a very disturbing year, because one thing we must remember, especially in the Assam context, that there's the election coming up in the first part of 2021.
Right.
So the events, the build-up to the election will happen in 2020, and so in Assam, a lot of factors will depend. But if you ask me what is going to be the common problem of Northeast, is one, the car-related issue is definitely there. But the most important thing is that with the dwindling of the political strength of BJP in the rest of the country, whether this cohesiveness which is there, the governments that were formed with the support of BJP, will those parties keep on still sticking to BJP or will they try to spread out on their own? I see a feeling that once a few more states falling for BJP, it might be difficult for them to really hold on to the political amalgam that they have been able. And the other point, the other very vital point, which is going to be, is that the expectations of the states so far as transfer of funds from the center is concerned has gone up very much. But 2020 is going to be the last year when they are going to get assistance in terms of GST. So the financial condition of the states are going to be very bad starting from 2020 and another 3-4 years, which will have a reflection on the government.
Now, that is a very sharp point which, Mr. Swapnil Barua has made. He has also actually sounded a note of caution for the otherwise extremely strong political party, that is the BJP, which has got a massive mandate in 2019. Nisikant Sapam, I need your response to this. Our panelist, Mr. Swapnil Barua has said that 2020 will be the most disturbing year, and a note of caution for the BJP. You have lost 2 states recently, you have lost 3 in the past. That means you have lost 5 states, major states in the country in recent months. So, do you agree that you have got a lot of work to do?
The northeast situation and the rest of the India situation is totally different. And yes, India is a very big country with a population of 130 crore people. So out of that, even 10 crore make noise, that's a lot of noise. So please don't be carried away, it's a huge country, number one. In northeast issue is different and the issue in the other parts of the country is different. Yes, we lost Jharkhand, we didn't have the tribal votes, I agree with you. But Maharashtra, we were bang on target. It is just that we got betrayed by our own partner, Shiv Sena. We fight elections on ideology. There's something CAA which is required. If you look at pan-India, these are people who have been tortured. जिस तरह से मोदी साहब कहते हैं इन पे जुल्म हुआ है, तो ये तो हमारे भारतीय सभ्यता में है इनको रक्षा करना. आप एक मान्यता के humanitarian point of view से देखिए, you can see from the humanitarian point of view also. Right. But yes, in the northeast, because we are a very small populated area with a lot of ethnic groups, so there is an apprehension. Therefore, ILP has been put in a lot of states other than Assam. Assam, like I said, Guwahati is a metropolitan city for us.
That is it. I'd like to pick up your point, Nisikant. I'd like to, Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, Nisikant Sapam has made a very interesting point. India is a country of 130 crore people. If 10 crore people makes noise,
I want to butt in. 2024 is going to be a bigger tsunami. You watch.
Okay, we'll wait.
Rajasthan, BJP didn't have
Let us talk about 2020 and 2021, where there are elections in Assam and West Bengal. We will definitely keep make a note of what you are saying, and maybe perhaps
Bengal
debate a little later in the day.
Assam also.
Absolutely. Akhil Ranjan Datta, Nisikant Sapam is saying that India is a country of 130 crore. If 10 crore people make noise, that is a lot of noise. Basically, what he is obviously trying to say is that don't go by the citizenship amendment protest. It could be just a small number of people. So it could be just that. That is what he is trying to actually say. So what do you think? Is this a challenge or not?
No, I think that will be that will be absolutely wrong. If you want to count a democracy only by numbers, I think that will be absolutely wrong. The northeastern region, even if you go by the government voices, government articulation, not even if you go by the articulations of the Prime Minister of India, he talks about Astalakshmi. He has been talking that this is the center, this is the gateway to Southeast Asia, and so on and so forth. Therefore, if we say that, because the numbers in Northeast India is very small compared to the numbers of the whole country, I think that will be absolutely wrong as far as the democracy is concerned. But when I talk about the challenges, let me point out, elaborate a few important points. No, what is happening around in Northeast India is that we have been getting indulged into more and more obsessive tendencies. For example, now, even if you look at Assam, although we see that there is only one voice as far as the opposition to Kha is concerned, there have been unfolding of lot of other obsessive tendencies, or other narrow identities are also building up. For example, now 6 communities will be demanding for ST status, some other communities will be demanding something else. As a result of it, what will be the impact is that the greater social security of the people.
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
talk about livelihood, you talk about employment, you talk about tourism, and so on and so forth. I think unless and until the government and civil society forces come together to come out of these obsessive tendencies, will be moving nowhere, and that will be the biggest challenge as far as the whole of North.
Okay, at the end of the day, Akhil Ranjan Datta is basically saying that there is a gamut of issues, these challenges from different quarters. Let me go to Prasenjit. Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, we have seen, let's be a little bit specific. I'm coming to you, Mr. Eluandang, on the Naga peace talks. That is one specific challenge in the northeastern region that we have flagged. I'm coming to Shamkan Mount on the development is another issue that we have flagged. But before that, Prasenjit Biswas, when we are talking about the agitation against the Citizenship Amendment Act, the country is talking about making a national population register. We had the NRC, which was a massive exercise for 5 years, 50,000 people, government officials in Assam did nothing, engaged only in preparing the NRC. Now the government is saying, oh, it's a wrong NRC, so on and so forth. But question is, can you find suddenly a responsible man like the former Tripura Congress president and Maharaja releasing a video, Pradyut Dev Burman, showing a group of people coming? He claims that these are Bangladeshis are still coming in. Now, have we done enough to deal with the core of the issue? We have not been able to prevent Bangladeshi influx, which is the core. At the end, root cause of what we are experiencing in the entire Northeast today. Why are we talking about ILP? Why is people in Assam talking about ILP? Although we know that ILP is a restrictive, it's going to impose a lot of restrictions on flow of people and tourists and so on and so forth. So what's going on? Why can't Bangladeshi influx be stopped?
Two issues here. In NRC, we have seen the projected number of Bangladeshis is a big myth. Now, just to give more air to that myth, Maharaja has given a video which shows an open part of the border. There are many open parts of the border like this, but all the open part of the border doesn't mean that illegal immigrants are coming from the other side and settling on this side. There may be a day-to-day transaction which happens in the border areas of Northeast, which is a well-known fact. But I do not undermine the possibility of illegal immigrants coming, but certainly they are not coming in such a large number that there should be a huge hullabaloo about it. But people are confusing the border crossers with the internal non-citizens. 19 lakh of people have been made as internal non-citizen by a flawed NRC process.
Let us not go in details into the NRC. We know that we have discussed.
Not the ones who cross the borders. No, So there is a divergence here between NRC and this kind of perception building. Perception building has to be backed up by proper evidence, which is not there in this case.
But Mr. Kripchalia, when look at the western border, look at the amount of technology which the government has used, sensors, flood lighting, all kinds of things. But why is it that for the 35 years we are talking about issues of Bangladeshis and infiltration and this and that? Elections have been won, elections have been lost on this issue. The citizenship politics is a live issue even today, 35 years after the signing of the Assam Accord. Why can't we have the basic thing like a flood lighting on the Assam-Bangladesh border? Don't you think it will act as a deterrent for people to sneak in at night, and it will give better visibility to our security forces?
No, it's very tragic. I find it very saddening that almost 70 years after independence, through a process of religious division, we are still talking in terms of our past and the sins of our forefathers or our fathers. You see, the most pertinent question is, how should we treat citizens of a country? How should we consider citizenship of a country? How should we allow foreigners or people from of foreign origin or from a different country to enter our country because of sympathy, humanitarian considerations, or basically because it is a legal process, through a legal process.
Right.
And we go on talking about past and humanitarian conditions, and people are coming from that place because he's a Hindu, because he's suffering, because there is religious persecution and all that. What I'm saying is that the modern attitude of all the countries, be it in Europe, be it in Europe, be it in American continent, all the whole issue
I had a specific
even in China.
question. Yes.
If one person entering a country, it's a very dangerous thing.
Dangerous thing.
One thing is definite that I think all the governments of Northeast, especially having a border with Bangladesh, will now realize that fence is not the answer.
Absolutely.
It's not the final answer. Whether you have high tech, whether you have lights or something, a neighbor, you can fence a neighbor, but he's always free to throw a stone at you in your own home.
So what are you trying to suggest?
So what I am trying to suggest is that the governments of India and Bangladesh must definitely sit together and have a common trans-border policy or strategy as to
and
how
perhaps that's a very good suggestion. India and Bangladesh need to work together,
I
and
think
the relations have never been better. It's the best relation in the last 20 to 30 years between India and Bangladesh. Perhaps that is something which is doable. Shamkar Mahanta, you were trying to say something.
See, I think the biggest weak point we have, we lack leadership. For Congress has ruled the state for the entire region for the majority part of last 50 years. What I feel that this is a strategic mistake on our part that we could not solve this issue. First thing is the Northeast needs a very sensitive handling. This is an issue, suppose Naga issue will open up Meitei issue. Like this car issue has opened up Assamese sentiment. So basically sensitive handling is important. It takes time. It's a very complex structure. It cannot be said in a minute that how to solve Northeastern issue. But I somehow believe that Mr. Modi is keen to take it forward in terms of taking all the communities together. But I feel the bigger issue is development. For development, we need big picture. Big picture is one thing Northeast should realize. Guwahati, Shillong can be one twin city. If a 1 hour train connects Guwahati to Shillong, it becomes a twin city, it opens up entire region. The big picture is missing in our leadership. So Northeast has to take a bigger jump towards development because this issue will keep on going on. This was a fragmented tribe, smaller tribe, but the development at least will bring some positivity, create employment and open up Northeast to Southeast.
In fact, the other issue, catching up from where Shamkano has left, what I personally feel is that 2020 you will see a change of perception in the leadership, in the sense that the old leaders who have been thinking purely in terms of politics or staying in power will be disturbed by the younger youth who will be wanting a bigger role of the government.
I think that is a very significant point which Swapnil Barua is making, because 65% of the population in our country, 65% of the population in our country is in the age group of 25 years. And this is a huge demographic dividend. I have to go for a break, but Nisikant Sapam, the point, 20 seconds to you. ILP, earlier point which Shamkana Mahanta made, ILP is going to come as a huge restriction to a landlocked state like Manipur, where tourism could have been a key, could have changed the economic profile.
Yeah, I agree with you that, but then we have to look at the sentiments of the people. We are very less in number. That's what we feel, and we feel that we need to protect our culture or our ethnicity. So therefore, ILT has been granted to us. But having said that, I know ILP is a slight hindrance to development, because you need papers every time you come in and go out. It's a psychological barrier. But
absolutely,
if things, I'm sure that things are going to be very smooth in giving these papers and documentation. So it shouldn't be an issue. It depends how the government machinery functions.
It depends on the government machinery. I'll go for a short break. When I come back, I'll go to Eluandang in Kohima and talk a little bit about the Naga issue with my panelists on the program. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Going straight to Kohima, Mr. Elu Ndang, General Secretary of the Naga Hoho. Many Christmas, Mr. Ndang, many Christmas have come and gone. Another Christmas went by. Question is, the Nagas have not got the elusive peace accord. My question now comes, there were a lot of hectic developments in the last couple of months. People claim that there has been a breakthrough achieved, but at the end of the day, everyone has decided to be quiet. What's going on?
Yes. Since the signing of the framework agreement, the government of India time and again assured the Naga people that it will come as a Christmas gift. But unfortunately, we have passed another Christmas. We also understand the difficulty faced by the negotiating parties and the government of India.
Yeah.
It is not very easy to come to a final conclusion unless all sections are taken into confidence. Maybe because of all these reasons, it has been delayed.
Yeah.
But we are, this time we are very, very hopeful that 2020 will bring a new development progress to the Naga people.
I will go to Nisikant on this. But Ilunandang, challenges from neighboring states, the Meiteis in Manipur and others, how easy or difficult it is going to be? Because even if you have a borderless kind of an autonomous council or a territory to take care of the interest of the Naga people around the entire northeast, including Manipur, the Meiteis, some of the Meitei groups have said that they are not going to accept even that, Ilunandang.
Are you asking me or asking Mr. Madha?
All these years, the neighbors have been shouting, have been proclaiming their own rights.
Yeah.
But one thing we must understand is that even if we shout all at the top of our voice, unless there is peace, unless there is understanding within the people, this will not bring any solution. And therefore, my appeal to them is that no matter how much we shout, we are going to remain a neighbor. This will not change as long as the world exists. Therefore, let us have with mutual respect, let us have a good neighborly relationship.
Okay.
Among the Northeast
okay,
people.
Mr. Nisikant Sapam, you can change your friends, but you cannot change your neighbors. Now the question is, that is what Elunadang of the Naga Hoho has said. What is the possible reaction from Manipur going to be? Suppose the Nagas get an autonomous territorial council without a boundary. If they decide to look after the interest of the Naga people in Manipur with a council which is headquartered in Kohima, for example, assuming. This is all assumption. Why should the Meiteis oppose? Is there a problem? What is the possible reaction could be?
You said you cannot change neighbors. Likewise, we don't want to change our brothers. I have always maintained that the Tangkhus, the Kabuis, all of them are, and we are the same stock of people. And I don't consider them the Nagas. They are all either Tangkhus or Kabuis, same stock of people. And as far as the Naga peace talk is concerned, it is not going to infringe upon the territorial integrity of this state, and neither is the administrative status. That's what I feel. They are our brothers, and we live together, always been in peace. We are peacefully, we accept them, we are part of us, part of each other.
Okay, conciliatory and very mature reaction coming from a very important voice in Manipur.
It's a fact.
I hope there is need to talk and build up on this kind of sentiments. But Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, do you think the entire or all those militant groups in the northeastern region, this is another big challenge in 2020, Ulfa Independent, for example, the NDFB and other smaller groups, the Meitei rebel groups. Do you think, Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, everyone is watching on the outcome of the Naga peace talks, and therefore it is important to have a resolution sooner than later? Akhil.
No, definitely. We definitely need the solution of the long-term, enduring solution of the problem. because we cannot stick to the same problem for decades together. And if we stick to the problem for decades together, what will happen to the other issues that I have mentioned, the social security, greater people's security of the commons, those are very, very important. But when we talk about reconciliation or conciliatory approach, I think it has to be very comprehensive and it has to be accommodative. But at many instances, when we talk about a conciliatory approach, for that matter, or reconciliation, we take our own position without trying to understand, without trying to accommodate the views of the other. As far as the Naga issue is concerned, that's happening. Government is trying their level best to bring a solution to the problem, but government is not taking into account, taking into confidence the other stakeholders of Manipur, stakeholders of Arunachal Pradesh, and stakeholders of Assam. And that cannot be a conciliatory approach. That cannot bring a reconciliation to the problem. I think when you talk about reconciliation, it has to be accommodative in nature.
Any effort at reconciliation has to be accommodative. Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, before I come to my panel in the studio, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas.
Right. Yeah. I would say that, Naga reconciliation process has to take into account the Naga claims of territory as well. But that has to be worked out in the form of a dialogue between Nagas and Meiteis. Unless both of them agree, no such territorial resolution is possible. On the other side, the Naga demand for a general cultural upliftment or development could be met by pumping in a lot of money to them, which the Naga peace process has already worked out. Naga villages could be given certain autonomy without violating the state authority of the Manipur as well.
Right.
So there are ways and means in which a complex negotiation can be carried out and a reconciliation is possible.
Okay, Mr. Kripchalia, do you think rebel leaders like Paresh Barua and others, do you think they are keenly watching the Naga peace talks and waiting for how the two sides resolve it before they decide and take a final call as to whether they should come at all for negotiations with the government of India or not? Or do you think that is going to help, that is going to be a turning point in the insurgency theatre in the northeastern region? See, how do you look at it?
Let us not forget that the Naga insurgency is the oldest insurgency in the northeast. That their in the country,
in South Asia, actually.
In Southeast Asia, maybe. I'll confine it to my country and say that it is the oldest insurgency, and Nagas are a very meager, small tribe, which has got a lot of sub-tribes and who are doing headhuntings among their own tribes. From that state. Can you finish me? Can you allow me to finish?
Yeah.
Don't be Arnav.
No longer. They are no longer.
From that stage, to lead an unified insurgency, in spite of the fact that it's an anti-Indian fact, that they have reached this stage, everybody has to view it with deep concern and deep, you have to make a very strong research and study on it. And let me tell you, without solving this insurgency problem, it will be difficult to solve other problems.
Okay.
The mother of all insurgency. Can I finish?
Yeah.
Can I finish?
Very quickly.
So I think that everybody should rise up. I liked what Napam was speaking today. Everybody should have that attitude. You have to give something to them, because thereafter all, they had suffered a lot, and they were never really historically a part of the Indian process of civilization. They were totally living in isolation. You see, I'll come to that. I'll just finish one more. You see, in Northeast, the problems are so complicated. There are layers after layers, layers after layers. Simple development will finish this off. That kind of prosperous magic, I don't think that is the right.
Because comparatively, the issue then will come is that X community has progressed more and Y community.
Inclusiveness, regional disparity, years and centuries of isolation. Do you mean to say with a stroke of pain, you build up dams, you build up you bring in planes?
Can I add a point here, Rajida? I feel that this is a tricky issue. But I feel that we have been talking about this issue for long years. Let's development process also take part. And also
development is taking place. Nobody's
consultation. See, it's about a consultation which has been taking place. As a Meitei leader has been talking about, Mr. Sapam has talked about. I think there is a point of understanding. They are going towards a point of understanding. But my point, what I am trying to impress upon is that we have to take the development process at fast track.
Development
along with, I'm not saying putting up them and killing people. No, what I'm saying that capturing the interest of the riverine people, dams should be built up. Capturing the interest of riverine people.
Okay.
dams should be built up. That is the
I'll-
way
I'll
it
give
should
a
be
rider.
looked at.
I'll give a
Future
rider.
Northeast should be prosperous, job creating at the same time.
Wasbir, I'll give just
respecting
one
the
rider.
identity
Very
of
quickly,
this country.
Akhil Ranjan, I'm
Measure all
coming
the
to you.
communities.
One rider, one
But-
rider.
but-
Akhil, I'm coming to you.
Respecting the identity.
Yeah,
I think we
I'll
must
just
respect. We must respect identity.
Development
we must
may
respect
not,
all the
cannot
tribes.
mean, development
But not
cannot
only
mean,
panacea, I agree.
I'll say, development cannot mean that a bigger civilization will submerge the smaller civilization.
Development does not mean a bigger civilization or
That
a
will
bigger
never happen.
community
It can't
will
be.
submerge or completely dominate the smaller community. Yes,
Right.
I'll come to you, Swapnil Barua. Akhil Ranjan Datta, yes. You are,
Yeah. No, I think this is very important. What Chamkanu Mahanta has been telling is very important. Development is very important. But if you shut down the existing industries like, that paper mill in Naga, for that matter, small industries in different parts of the state and the region, and you talk about development only in terms of building huge dams or building big national highways and so on and so forth, completely ignoring the very sources of life and livelihood of the commons, the development will bring in more dissent than bringing peace in the region.
Oh,
And that
Swapnil
has been
Barua,
happening.
Swapnil
Therefore,
Barua,
we need a
let me
preventive
take this
in
to
the
Swapnil
understanding
Barua.
of
Swapnil
development
Barua,
itself.
Right. You have been in the government in senior positions for almost 4 decades. My question is, why is the government unable to resolve this paper mill issue? And what Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta is saying, that you have to deal with the issue in hand and you are talking about big things.
Well, it is, see, a paper mill in the total context, it may sound very harsh. It doesn't matter, but one thing one has
But
to
you have
get
to come up with radical measures
No,
like
no,
trying
wait.
to absorb these people in
Yes,
different
yes.
other
What-
establishments.
See, one thing I'm
Even
trying
if
to-
you cannot revive the
See,
mill.
just a point, Wasbir. Korea is owned by 6 chaebols. It is unthinkable in India, but at the same time, once you go to Korea, you see that prosperity through those 6 concentrated multinational corporations that are there are running the country so well.
No, come to the paper mill. Come to closer home.
One thing I'll tell you is that industries will come and go. One thing that has to be accepted.
Okay.
And at the same
Can I
time,
ask
I'm
this
running-
point?
I'm running-
and
yes,
another
yes,
thing.
yes.
The paper mill
Wait,
thing,
wait,
my point is that
just
paper
a
mill
big-
can be revived. It's a government failure, not being able to revive
It's
this
a
paper mill.
management failure.
It's a government management failure, and this has to be restructured. Just get some private sector. Is somebody, that's a leadership issue. We lack leadership at the political level, which is being able to implement.
Privatize.
So I have to privatize is not a solution. Using the public infrastructure in PPP, paper mill can be revived.
Yes, we've
Okay,
been
I will go a step further. Privatize it, do whatever you want, absorb these
Yes,
people in
absolutely.
other
And make it
establishments, in
happen.
other industries.
I agree on
Take
that.
them.
And
But
not
the other
only-
thing,
and
give
not
them
only
life,
Wasbir,
make
material
it's the
development.
same point I'm coming here, is that we must, if you look through Harari's book these days is saying that jobs will be at stake from the next 20 years.
Okay,
and
let me
multi-skilling is going to be the need of the hour.
Let me go to Nisikant. But before going to Nisikant, on a very important point, Elunadang, a slightly different point. Let's go a little bit away from the Naga peace talks. 70 years, we're talking about development, Mr. Elunadang. 70 years after independence, Nagaland has absolutely no infrastructure. The main road from Kohima to Dimapur is 100 kilometers. You take 5 to 6 hours even today. What the hell is going on? Why can't people fix a road? It's the main road connecting, the commercial hub to Kohima, which is the state capital. Forget about other parts of the northeast. So this is something which the Nagas have been deprived of. Successive governments have failed the Naga people. They deserve much better than this. They deserve at least a good road connecting Dimapur and Kohima, and thereafter to other parts of the state. Mr. Andam.
Or even through number.
You see,
to Dimapur.
the basic development for the people to progress is the road transport communication.
Yes.
Now, the government time and again have been saying that because of insurgency problems, there cannot be developments. But this is only an excuse. For the last 70 plus years, we have been under the government of India. And then, if the government of India is serious of considering these developmental aspects, they should have taken care of the needs of the people. Connectivity is one problem. Today, you see, not only the road transport, you see the communication area.
Yes.
Even today in your show, when we go for live, many a times the networks are get disconnected.
Correct.
And this is a very frustrating thing
Yes,
for
yes.
the Naga people. Therefore, government of India must, if they are serious of saying that peace and development progress is there in Naga society, they should seriously
Okay.
consider all these aspects.
Okay, now, Mr. Nisikant Sapam, 2020, we are talking about the road ahead in 2020. Now, a very important development has taken place in Manipur. The release of Mr. Sanayama, R.K. Meghen, the leader of the UNLF. He is a very important personality. Fine, he has launched the first rebel group in the state. Do you think the government now should utilize his services, utilize his experience in trying to work out a dialogue process between the Meitei rebel groups and the government of India? Do you think peace then will lead to the automatic development in Manipur?
Yes, he's a very important personality, of course. And peace and development, I don't know which one comes ahead, but they both are required. And like Mr. Adang said, I think I said his name right, that the government of India has been, of course, ruling India. But the thing is, the party sadly was somebody, Congress most of the time. Northeast has been neglected and there has to be development. कहते हैं उज्वाला लाओ तो भूत प्रेत खुद ब खुद गायब हो जाता है. So let's bring in progress, let's give employment, and we'll see a better light of the day. So, of course, Bijli Pani Sadak is the key issue and must be had in the Northeast at the earliest and no compromise on that. And which the government of BJP is doing a fine job today. And you will see many roads, like for example, from Imphal to Loktak, we have a fantastic road now. You come and see it yourself, So things are happening in the Northeast. Yes, it may be a little delayed as you compare it with the rest of the country. But it is happening and it is going to happen.
Okay.
And the BJP central leadership is hell-bent on it.
All right. All right.
And of course, they should, if Mr. Sanayama can cooperate, it will be very nice.
Okay.
For every one of us.
But Mr. Andang, Nagaland has once again been declared a disturbed area. Mr. Andang, why is it once again a disturbed area? Andang.
This issue of Armed Forces Special Powers Act is absolutely nonsense to Naga people. In this present situation, if we are to look back during our Honorable Prime Minister, late Atal Wasbir, when he visited Kohima, he gave the government of Nagaland a peace bonus. They said there is peace in the state, in the Naga areas. Government of India itself, they have declared, and for which the peace talk has started, negotiations have started. Now, on what ground, on what basis are they extending this armed forces special
All right,
powers?
got your point,
Place.
Mr. Elunadang. Sorry to cut off only for the lack of time, I'm doing so. Prasenjit Biswas, your final comments, I'm running absolutely short of time.
Yeah.
2020, the big challenges.
There is a gradual erosion, yes, there is a gradual erosion of democratic processes in the whole of Northeast. In the CAA protest, we have seen police has gone totally atrocious. Armed Forces Special Power Act has been extended. There is an enforced damming of various rivers of Northeast. So we can see a certain kind of a coercive strategy on the part of the center. That has to be replaced by dialogue and reconciliation. If central government fails to bring in dialogue and reconciliation instead of coercion, there will be many more problems that it has to handle in the Northeast.
Absolutely. Very, very important. But Dr. Akhiranjan Dutta, your final comments.
I'll talk about 4 C's. Convergence, consensus, cooperation, and confidence. There are possibilities of bringing convergence among all the conflicting views that we have been witnessing. If we can do that, we can bring about consensus on the core issues that we have been fighting for. If we can do that, we can also talk about cooperation between the people and the government. And if we can do that, achieve that, we can go ahead with confidence of building a peaceful society, a society marked by development.
Very quickly, 10 seconds. I'm running short of time.
It's very sad that Assam and Northeast is once again fallen into a vicious cycle of non-development. This is discontentment leading to insurgency, lack of peace, non-development again, and we have to get out of that.
Get out of that. That is one of the biggest challenges.
To get out of that, you need vision. You must not only talk about material prosperity, but you must also think about the peace and spiritual contentment.
Okay, we will have to take help from nearby Bhutan, where we have the gross national happiness. But Swapnil Barua, 10 seconds, your parting comments.
My parting comments would be that we are at the crux of a critical year, in the sense that two things are going to emerge in the whole northeastern region. Is that the environmental damage that is happening, and the consequences that we are likely to face a water shortage, and that will give rise to inter-state conflict because of the river sources. And secondly, the reduction of the career span. Careers earlier used to be 30 years, it is now reduced to 10 years, and unless the youth of the Northeast are prepared for that short change of careers, that a career would be 10 years and you have to be prepared to change in the next 10 years.
So you have flagged at the end a very critical issue, that of climate change. Some kind of amount of 10 seconds to you, last word.
I think Northeast has to be handled with care. What Akhil and Dr. Professor Biswas says, I agree. Convergence of ideas, cross opinion has to be brought forward, and peace is prerequisite for development. Second point, what is very my quickly. Area of interest? Big ideas, big vision is essential for Northeast. Small ideas will make us like this. Big vision is required, and we have to also cooperate. People of Northeast has to look at the future. We have to look at for our children. We must encourage we need big leadership, strong leadership, big vision, and I'm confident Northeast will go towards part
2020, Nisikant, confident, hopeful? Hopeful? Nisikant, are you hopeful? Okay, Nisikant, we are absolutely running short of time. Sorry about that. I think we have got a very engaging discussion. Yes, things are challenging, but not bleak either. I think if there is convergence, if there is vision, I think we can clinch some of these issues that will bring peace, prosperity, and development in the entire Northeast. I thank all my panelists for participating in this very engaging discussion, and the viewers for watching the show. On this, I end this edition of Northeast Tonight. Good night and goodbye.
Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.